Welcome, Mommy Boots.
Hey!
Surprise!
Yes, yes. Uh, I'll be the first to let you know that all the while, I thought that Chiqui and I were going to both be interviewed. Sabi ko pa nga sa kanya sa text message, wow, for the first time in so long a time, tayo yung interviewees and we love somebody interviewing us. Yung pala siya ang surprise.
Well, this is, I guess, my bucket list. This is something that we've never done before. And I think this is a better time than any to sit you down and pick your brain for a long time. We have some time. And I think it's a perfect time because maraming ganap this week.
Oo.
First of all, happy birthday.
Thank you, thank you. I just turned 81, January 30. And one of the highlights, of course, was I danced
Yes!
with my choreographer and lead dancer who really guided us all the way, she and Sabrina, her daughter. And I think that elicited a lot of interest and curiosity.
That's because you turned 81 and you were dancing like you were 50. I think yun ang kinagulat ng marami.
Baka makuha pa akong dancer sa mga dance shows.
Hindi kasi marami nang nakalimot. Parang pati nga ako nakalimutan ko na you're actually, you're a trained dancer. Diba?
Yes, like you, from grade school to high school. And career-wise, I started my TV career in Channel 5, actually, on a nightly dance show for young people.
Channel 5 nga pala yung Dansorama.
Yes, Dansorama. And that was where I met my host partner na magiging partner for life ko pala. And it didn't sound like a life sentence.
My dad, of course, you're talking about my dad.
Ito po yung produkto.
You would tell us before, nung namatay na si Daddy, parang meron pa kayo
2007.
Meron pa kayo mga iniisip na baka papasok na ako sa kumbento, may mga ganon.
Yeah, natauhan ako nung naisip ko. Kasi, di ba, there was this American saint who joined the order when she turned a widow at age 52. So
you wouldn't have been the first.
Yeah. Pero inspirasyon ko yun. Tapos naisip ko, teka, reality check. Pag pumasok ako, and I was 61 at the time, I must have been 61 or thereabouts. Pag pumasok ako, I will be a liability to the order kasi matanda na ako, aalagaan pa ako niyang mga yan.
Inisip talaga magmadre. Pero I don't think it was meant to be because cut to now, you are a married woman once again.
Oo nga.
And I think that is something, if I may, from my observation, something that's also kept you smiling all of these years. Eto na, this latter part of
Not only because the marriage is almost like a marriage made in heaven, but also because my husband, who was a widower, to my being a widow, nung magkatagpo kami, his children have really embraced me into the Rodrigo family. And I'm proud to say that my own children have treated King, my husband, like their very own. Talagang napaka-komportable po silang yung parehong sets ng mga anak.
And sabihin na natin, hindi naman lahat ganyan. Marami tayong kilalang mga, or lalo na kayo, I'm sure, yung mga byuda na never na magpapakasal. Dahil siguro ayaw nila or ayaw ng mga anak nila. When did you know, kailan nyo naman nalaman na magpapaligaw na pala uli kayo?
Sabi nga, hindi nga hinihintay yun, hindi hinihingi yun pag dumating ang pagkakataon. And in the case of Kin, it was at the 96th birthday of Lola Med, my mother-in-law, Remedios Enriquez Francisco, na kaibigan ko yung mami niya. Bumibisita kami parati doon pag birthdays, lalo si Gloria Romero, Susan Roses, si Tita Pempe, si Pempe Rodrigo, Josefina Rodrigo. Yun po ang kapatid ni King na kabarkada po namin. So in that respect, parang family friend namin. So that 96th birthday of Lola Mer, minatch-match pala kami ng mga kapatid ko, si Vicky, si Lani, at yung mga kapatid niya, they had this funny idea na irereto kami, imamatch.
Sige, pero unahan ko na. Laglagan na to. Since mas marami akong alam. Ayan. Bago pa si Tito King, meron ng mga ibang sumubok, di ba? I think, for a widow, magde-decide ka na, sige, bubuksan ko na uli yung puso ko. Tatanggap na uli ako ng mga manliligaw. When did that happen for you?
Alam mo, ang nakakatuwa doon, Chiqui, I never parang thought of a schedule kung kailan ko bubuksan at kung kailan ko sasaran. Because it never struck me na, 6 months pa lang namatay ang asawa mo. Ay, 1 month pala, 1 year pala.
In your case, 7
2
years.
pala. Yeah. So, tumagal na tumagal. I think it helped that I was busy. Busy doing so many things. Busy with our own family lives and interests. Kaya, hindi ako nalungkot, hindi ako nabore, hindi ako naghanap.
Pero dumating, and you felt, what? If hindi kayo naghanap, bakit biglang nagkaroon ng oportunidad na, eto nga, let's entertain the thought of marrying again.
Oo.
Or dating again. Siyempre, dating muna yan, di ba?
Oo, una. Siyempre, merong physical attraction. Merong kilig ba?
Hinanap yung kilig.
Oo. And ano naman yun kahit hindi mo hanapin, pag nakita mo, parang alam mo na agad na, oops, merong tigidig, gano'n.
Okay.
And that happened, like, with your dad. I first met Chiqui's dad, Roa, on the set. On the set na of Dance Orama.
Doon na nagsayawan dun no?
Doon nga yata yung hilig ko sa sayaw na development. And I had only heard about him or watched him. But galing ako sa school, sinundo ako ng Channel 5. So, 5:30 ang labas ko sa UP. 6 o'clock, photo finish talaga yung show. We didn't have the chance to communicate and plan. Walang reviews.
You were so young then.
I was 18.
Yeah, I will go to that. Kasi ang dami ang nagbabalik tanaw sa inyong showbiz career because nga you just launched a book which we'll get to later. And iba yung entry nyo sa sa showbiz. Una-una rin recruit kayo dito sa Dance Orama. So hindi kayo yung nagpresenta or naghanap ng opportunity.
Swerte nga kasi kahit sa movies ganun din, hindi ako nagpresenta.
Yeah.
But going back to Dance Orama, nung nawalan si Pete, your dad, ng show host, show co-host, show partner, si Baby O'Brien, kasi napunta sa ibang istasyon, he remained partnerless. So, nag-scout yung executives nila sa mga nagtanong-tanong and they got to UP and I was referred by the UP authorities. So, pinuntahan ako nung kanilang executive producer of Danceorama. And I said no. Kasi sabi ko, sayang, I'm running for honors, ang dami kong activities, I don't think I'm ready. So, when I went home to your lola, your Mama Belen, sabi niya, dinecline mo yun, practicum mo na yun. Di ba? Speech and drama.
So, in other words, you sacrificed your chance sana to graduate with honors.
Yes. But, God is good. Binalikan ako. Executive producer niyan for what reason, I don't know.
Yeah.
So, after I had talked to your lola, tinanggap ko. And as they say, the rest is history.
Yeah. Even in the movies nga, your first role was a starring role.
Yes, I didn't go through introducing, supported by, etc. It was a lead role right away. So, in both cases, sabi mo nga medyo, my entry was really, it was a breeze. No?
Parang swerte talaga. Parang pinagpala nga What was your favorite decade?
Surprisingly, nung nandun tayo sa States, pero nahirapan tayo, di ba?
Wala kayo sa showbiz, wala nakakakilala sa inyo, walang special treatment.
Kasi medyo mestizo naman in that sense because of my work as cultural attaché, media attaché, we also hobnob with the Filipino community members there. Although iba naman yun. Iba naman sila kaysa doon sa fandom or the movie audience here. No?
Pero you like the normal life?
Yes, I like living the normal life and I saw that kayong mga anak, parang also enjoyed it. No? Kasi dito, dahil disiplinado po itong mga anak namin, po sila yung busog sa bilin na, hello, precisely because you have some pedigree, your parents are known precisely because of that. Wag na wag kayong magyayabang at wag na wag kayong nakataas ang ilong. Makisama kayong maigi, especially to the smaller people. And that, I
Well,
think, got into their...
But I want to say, we learned all that from our exposure here more
Yes.
than there, because this is where we otherwise would have enjoyed that special treatment. It's interesting na yun yung tumatak sa inyo kasi ang lahat naman ng tao, syempre, ang naaalala kayo bilang the actress, the enduring actress. So, all of those years, ang daming mga nangyayari. In fact, you are one among, just a handful of actors who can talk about what it was like back in the 70s compared to what it is now. Think mas mahirap ngayon or noon to get started in show business and to stay in show business?
I think either way, mahirap talaga because producers can really be very selective, no? And let's face it, meron naman politics din in showbiz. Oo, merong mga choices, meron ding palakasan system to a certain extent. I mean, connections help. Sometimes it's who you know helps, no? But for the most part, I'd like to think na ang producers, especially the directors, are discerning. They know their talent and they will hone the talent or maximize, exploit even the talent pag nakita nila. Then and
So
now.
talent is important kahit ngayon.
Oh yeah. Oo.
Kasi balikan natin yung mga sino yung mga lagi ninyong mga leading man noon na talagang hanggang ngayon ay tinitingala yung mga haligi talaga ng industriya. FPJ, what's your let's play Actor Association, what's the first thing you think about it? Si FPJ.
Kung merong every man, si Chaucer, sa literature, yun.
Every man.
Yun, siya yun. Talagang pangkalahatan ang appeal niya dahil yung pagkatao niya, ganun din, pangkalahatan.
Si Susan Roses, so I know you're very close.
Susan, female version in that respect. Pero si Susan, believe it or not, mas stricto si Susan. Mas organized siguro. In their production, she was the administrative person. Kasi si FPJ was more into the creative.
You're
Susan
very
was
close.
creative herself.
Lagi nga kayo pinagkakamalan, di ba magkamukha? Si Dolphy, what's something you remember about Dolphy?
Yes, si Dolphy was the woman's delight. Eka nga, ano yan, napaka-attractive sa women. Sabagay, FPJ was too. Pero known yan to be a, tawagan lang, chick boy, ganon. Comedian, par excellence. But to me, he was one of the kindest, sweetest, and even more serious people I've known.
Okay. So dito tayo sa mga 70s, 80s, kasi ang dami nga 5 decades yung na-over nyo. Sa mga Ate V, yan.
Oo. Si Ate V was a child star.
So
Kaya talagang lumaki, hinubog ng
Pero
pelikula.
ano kaya, what makes her so enduring also?
Kasi she loves people. She really loves people and she loves her work. Kaya pag binato mo yung pagmamahal mo sa trabaho mo, babato rin sa'yo yan babalik sa'yo.
And then you have the mga big names today like Ding Dong Dantes who you work
Oo.
with.
You know, for somebody, how many years older than Ding Dong, he's one of my role models among the younger ones. Para napaka-kumpleto ng pagkatao ng batang yun. And magaling na artista, magaling na anak. He rebuilt his home residence. Pinalakihan niya ng gusto for 2 years inabot. 3 years para to improve the living conditions and to give more space for his parents and siblings. And at the time, naging tenant nga namin.
So I'm listening to you now, and it's very interesting how you know all of these details about Ding Dong, about Ate V.
Charo, mamaya, let's talk about Charo.
This is something that I think is unique. How do you build these relationships with the people that you work with?
Kasi hindi lang naman during shooting or during promoting TV or during special events that are film-related na nakakausap mo yung mga yan. And I think what's also unique is, maybe it's a gift, kahit hindi kami nagkikita madalas, merong instant chemistry na nadidevelop. Maybe it's the goodwill. Maybe it's the goodwill. Oo.
Your 3 favorite movies? Hirap. Tatlo lang,
Oo,
Tatlo lang.
Nakaalala ko sa silang mga anak ko pag merong mga in 10 words or less. So parang short of Chiqui saying, 3 lang, ha? Siguro Wanted Perfect Mother.
Yes, the first.
Landmark movie.
And you won.
Yeah, and that was a box office hit.
Yes.
That was a success in many ways.
Okay.
And it was the first movie of Lino Brocca, my classmate in school. Beautiful experience.
Yeah. Number 2.
Number 2. Siguro yung Santiago.
Okay.
Also with FPJ and Dante.
Yeah.
And Hilda Coronel. And then third, marami pa akong gusto, but I think this one that we just finished is a landmark film for me.
Yeah.
Especially now at my age and having done more than 150 movies lang sa film.
Until She Remembers, where you play a queer couple with Miss Charo Santos.
Yes.
Ang daming tumaas ang kilay dahil sa choice ng role na ito.
Not so much na dementia patient din ako, pero about the queer couple.
Yeah.
Hanggang ngayon, alam mo, Chiqui, parang hindi ko pa masabi yung queer couple because I find nothing queer about two people of the same gender loving, starting from friendship and engaging in a love, which in the case of the characters we portray, a love that is so pure, pristine even, so lasting, na unadulterated yata pwedeng sabihin. Siguro, bihira yun. Kaya, a blessing also is because I've known Charo a long time.
Yeah.
And even if we don't see each other very often, may meeting of the minds and hearts kami. And that helps.
I would venture to say that you share your views with her, or she shares. You have common
when we get the chance,
views.
and when I read about her views, I think, oh my God, exactly like that. And I think it's vice versa.
But not everybody shares those views.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Was that a concern?
When Director Brillante Mendoza offered us this, I didn't know it. It was Charo, and she didn't know it was me going to be offered that other. We took the case on the face value of the role. And sabi ko, wow, matanda na ako. Kailan ko pa gagawin ito? Wala na akong iisipin na baka pintasan ako, baka i-condemn ako, baka magalit sa akin yung mga kaibigan ko, mga religious, etc. Yung mga anak ko, matatanda na sila, naiintindihan na nila. Their minds are more open, they're educated, they're more learned. And si Tito King naman, when I told him about, go for it if it's going to, if it's going to make you a better actress, to make you a better person. So, after a few explanations, some briefing for Direct, sabi ko, why not? And then he told me, by the way, Charo is doing the other character.
Charo, Tita Charo, you're so close to, you have this special relationship with her. Did this change at all after the movie?
No, in fact, I think the relationship was enhanced. In fact, it was very clear while we were shooting na there was this chemistry, there was this bond. Even hindi kami nagkikita madalas, no? Maybe it's because we share the same values, we have the same, parang, ang circumspection namin pareho yata ng level, no? And maybe we have the same heart for many things.
Yeah.
So, ang daling, even on the set, the director, by the way, no scripts kami, no? No, what a challenge. But because the director knew his material from beginning to end, because he created the material, he wrote it, he wrote the little of it that he shared by way of scripts. And because he has some vision, ang lalim niya sa tingin ng sa tao.
Let's think practically. How do you remember lines at age 81?
One, I'm thankful I still have that gift of memorizing.
What is the technique?
Meron.
Meron.
And I learned the technique from school in UP and more from Nestor Torre when I was doing projects with him.
Pero ang dami talaga natutuwa that at 81, ang dami niyong mga gustong gawin pa, ang dami niyong ginagawa ng mga bagay na hindi ginagawa ng mga ka-age ninyo.
Yeah.
You committed to writing a book that's called Grateful. What was that experience like? Parang having to remember everything that happened, that transpired, and everything that you are grateful for.
I'll be honest. Good ego trip yan,
Okay.
magsulat ka. Especially if it's your memoir.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
It's a good ego trip because we always like to look back at things, no? Whether painful or joyful or otherwise.
But why did you want to do this? Why did you want to write this book?
Because I wanted to be able to share something of me that I cannot share in one giving.
Yeah.
Ito, pwedeng basahin mo yan, nandun lahat. And there were some facts and notions about me na hindi nila alam na nandyan.
Yes, a lot. Marami kayong madidiscover.
Yeah.
Kasi akala nila na di ba, very black and white, si Mama Mary.
Oo.
Hindi puro Mama Mary. Yan.
So dyan you see a gray character.
Yes.
And also because I thought that this would be the, if I were to speak of a legacy to my followers, my friends, this would be it. Nandyan lahat. And Tito Vic Valenciano, or Lolo Vic to you, my father's first cousin,
Gary
V's dad, was the one who initiated me into this. More than 10 years ago, at some family gathering, he said, Boots, I wrote a book for Gary, maganda. I'll do one for you. Let's make it a project. So he was so enthused na photographer kasi yun eh. Ginawa na niya ako ng photo layout. Tapos nandun lang yung text, yung ipsum lorem, nandun na. And well, the procrastinator that your mother is, it took 10 years bago talaga.
It's never too late.
What struck me really, what bound me to it was at the deathbed of Tito Vic. Because I had been delaying here. I'd been telling me, our book. At his deathbed, I said, Tito Vic, I promise you, come hell or high water, I will write that book, I'll finish it, and I will dedicate it partly to you. Kasi nasa isip ko, oh my God, he might haunt me. Baka hilahin ng pa ako noon.
So I'm looking at you now talking about Tito Vic at his deathbed, and I'm thinking, what is it like for an 81-year-old to think about your mortality, to think about life and death? Is it different?
Totoo yun. Was it William Wordsworth who wrote intimations of immortality, including mortality? Yes, it comes to mind that, who knows, like every morning, the first thing I do in the morning is to say, thank you, Lord, that I woke up this morning, because many others did not.
Would you say you weren't that way, like say, 20 years ago? Nag-iba ba? Iba ba ang pananaw ng isang 81-year-old sa buhay at sa...
In my case, not much of a difference, but more physical na. I'm slower in my movements now. If I had danced our dance 20 years ago, mas mabilis ako siguro. Mas energetic.
Ito na lang ang tanong ko. For an 81-year-old, what do you know for sure? Is something you know for sure?
Like they say, for sure, you can never escape from death and taxes. And in the business we're in, you can never escape criticism, being bad-mouthed. No matter how well-intended you are, hindi mawawala yan. Especially in the age of social media.
Yan, dami na natin napulot. Ito, what is one question you still have? Something
I'm sorry?
that you don't know. What's a question you still have?
What questions?
Yeah.
What does emoji mean?
Dami
when you told me the other day, Ma, OG, this and that. Ang alam ko OMG, magkamag-anak ba yun?
OG.
OG is the same as OMG?
You're the original, the GOAT. Yan, the greatest of all time.
It's not OGA.
So marami pa kayong hindi alam.
Hindi alam, kaya nga pinagtatawa. And I'm pretty open about that. I will self-deprecate to death about things I do not know because it makes me very human in the eyes of people who think I'm perfect, di ba? That I'm Mama Mary to the hill, di ba? Hello, may putik din ang paa ko at marami akong hindi alam, like, ano yung emoji?
Oo nga. May spirito de contradiction din yan. Nagtanan nga eh. Nagtanan. No?
To the shock of your lolo and lola, to the shock of everybody.
Was that a regret? Or do you have any regrets?
No, in fact, you'd be surprised, di ba? Yes, girl. Amen, amen ako di ba? Sa nanay, sa tatay, sa mga matatanda. But when I decided, and it was an overnight decision, it was not, because your dad and I were already planning to get married. And in fact, we told your lola, but she had other thoughts like, wag muna, may career ka, mag-abroad ka muna, ganyan.
So, na-shatter na yung Mama Mary image ng nanay ko. Ganun talaga. So, yeah, you are gray after all. No, but I think what I like is the way you look back at these memories so fondly when you are now married to Tito King and you are creating totally different memories together. So, to close, we want to see where you are at now and what you are still looking forward to. Usually, pagka nag-interview tayo ng mas bata-bata, where do you see yourself
so many
10 years from now?
now.
Is that something that you ask yourself? Or do you look that far ahead?
If you ask me, where do you see yourself 10 years from now? I'll tell you, I don't. Kasi hindi ko alam. Hindi ko alam. At this age, we go by the carpe diem, live each day to the fullest, seize the moment, because you don't know when the next moment will be. That's why my first prayer in the morning when I wake up, thank you, Lord, that you woke me up because others slept through the night, slept through their life. Diba? Yeah. So each day is a charism, it's a gift. That's why they call it present as in regalo, diba? It's a gift. A grace that sometimes we don't deserve, but which we are given voluntarily by the source. So, live, in our case, I think your Tito King would go by the same mantra. Live each day as if it were your last. Because you never know if you'll be up the next day. Diba? We're like what in the Bible, the 10 virgins na may gas yung kanilang, they're always ready.
I think it's that kind of outlook and the kind of gratitude that you have for all of the blessings that keeps the wrinkles away and the feet dancing. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing.
And thank you for the surprise.